Chapter 7. The Grand Archives and a Calculated Gamble. The new course set the Galactic Wanderer towards the heart of the galaxy, to Xylos Prime, a bustling core world, and home to one of the Galactic Council's most prestigious and heavily guarded archives. This was a direct challenge, a calculated gamble Rex had made to retrieve a Veritas fragment that was likely under the Council's watchful eye. If they could get this one, it would be a major blow to the Shadow Keepers and their masters. "Are you sure about this, Captain?" Alara asked, her voice tinged with apprehension as Xylos Prime grew larger on the view screen. The planet glittered with billions of lights, a testament to the Council's immense power and influence. "This isn't an abandoned mining outpost. This is literally the belly of the beast. We're going straight into a hornet's nest." "That's exactly why we're doing it," Rex grunted, his gaze fixed on the approaching planet. "They won't expect us to hit them where they're strongest. They'll be watching the fringes, the remote systems. A direct assault on a core world archive is illogical from their perspective. That's our advantage." His plan was audacious, even for Rex. It involved using the Galactic Wanderer's outdated appearance as a form of camouflage. Most high-value targets were protected by advanced stealth ships and sophisticated orbital defenses designed to detect sleek modern vessels. An old, clunky space freighter like Rex's would barely register as a threat, likely filtered out as routine commercial traffic. "We'll pose as independent cargo haulers, delivering a specialized shipment to the archives," Rex explained, running through the fake manifest Alara had cooked up. "Medical supplies for historical research, a classic Federation loophole. Alara, you'll be my co-pilot, overseeing this sensitive cargo." "And if they check the cargo?" Alara raised an eyebrow. "They won't. Not deeply anyway. Federation paperwork is a nightmare. They'll take one look at the manifest, groan, and wave us through just to avoid the hassle," Rex predicted with a cynical grin. His years of navigating galactic bureaucracy, usually by bending its rules, had given him a certain insight into its weaknesses. As they approached Xylos Prime's orbital space, the sheer scale of the Council's presence became apparent. Swarms of smaller patrol craft zipped between colossal space stations, and massive battleships hung silently in orbit, their weapon systems a stark reminder of the Council's military might. "Initiating customs protocol," Rex announced, activating the external comms. His voice shifted, taking on a bored, slightly whiny tone he reserved for dealing with officialdom. "This is Independent Freighter, the Galactic Wanderer, registration A77 Omega 9, requesting clearance for cargo delivery to Xylos Prime Archival Complex RH07, manifest attached." A moment of static, then a crisp, authoritative voice responded. "Independent Freighter A77 Omega 9, your manifest is processing. Stand by for customs inspection." Rex exchanged a glance with Alara. "Here we go." A sleek Council patrol ship detached from a nearby station and began its approach. It was a standard model, armed with heavy laser cannons and advanced scanning equipment. Rex felt a familiar tension in his gut, but he kept his expression neutral, his hands relaxed on the controls. The patrol ship pulled alongside the Galactic Wanderer. A holographic image of a stern-faced Council customs officer appeared on Rex's view screen. The officer was an ass-face, a species known for their rigid adherence to rules and procedures, and their deeply furrowed brow. "Independent Freighter A77 Omega 9, the ass-face officer's voice crackled, devoid of any warmth. "Your manifest indicates a shipment of classified medical research supplies for Archival Complex RH07. This is highly unusual for an independent hauler. State your purpose." "Look, Commander," Rex sighed, affecting an air of tired resignation. "My purpose is to get paid. The Federation needed this delivered, and they know the Wanderer gets it there on time, every time, no questions asked. Sensitive stuff, apparently. I just haul the boxes, don't ask what's in them. All the paperwork's there, signed and sealed." The ass-face officer's brow furrowed even deeper. "You understand the penalties for false declarations to a Council core world facility independent hauler." "Oh, believe me, Commander. I've read the rulebook," Rex said, trying to sound as weary as possible. "Page 7, paragraph 3, subsection B, fines for improper designation of biohazard waste, not applicable here. And then there's the one about unauthorized transport of sentient life forms, definitely not applicable. It's just a bunch of fancy medical chemicals for some old history books, I reckon. Bunch of glorified dust, if you ask me." He saw the ass-face officer twitch slightly, a barely perceptible sign of annoyance. The council's bureaucracy was a labyrinth, and Rex knew how to make it feel like a chore for those enforcing it. Very well, the ass-face officer finally conceded, a note of exasperation in his voice. Proceed to Docking Bay 17 at Archival Complex RH07. Prepare for direct transfer and immediate departure. Any deviations will result in impoundment and full investigation. Understood, Commander, Rex said, a relieved grin spreading across his face as the comms cut off. Looks like my charm still works. Alara let out a shaky breath. That was terrifying. I thought for sure he'd send a boarding party. They're too lazy for that unless it's a known threat, Rex chuckled. They just want us gone. Now let's get that Veritas fragment. They successfully docked the Galactic Wanderer at Archival Complex RH07. The facility was enormous, a sprawling complex of reinforced durasteel and gleaming chrome, stretching for kilometers. Drones zipped overhead, and armed council guards patrolled the corridors, their heavy boots echoing on the polished floors. Their fake manifest led them to a secure cargo bay. As expected, a team of council droids efficiently unloaded their medical supplies, scanning each crate with disinterest. Rex and Alara, in their civilian clothes, pretended to oversee the operation, casually observing their surroundings. The Libertonian map shows the fragment in the restricted data vaults. Level 5, Alara whispered, discreetly consulting her datapad. Access requires Level 5 security clearance and a neural key. A neural key, Rex grumbled. That's going to be a problem. My brain's only cleared for basic navigation and pre-contact music. Mine too, unfortunately, Alara admitted. But there might be a workaround. Council archives often have physical keycards for maintenance staff or emergency overrides. We need to find one of those, then bypass their security systems to use it. Their opportunity came when a council archivist, a distracted Fleckos alien known for their disorganized nature, left his datapad unattended while arguing with a droid about a misplaced file. Alara, with a casual glance, used a tiny, undetectable scanner on her wrist to quickly copy the archivist's security credentials. Got it, she whispered triumphantly. Now we just need to get to Level 5 without drawing attention. Navigating the archival complex was like moving through a maze designed by a paranoid bureaucracy. Every corridor had surveillance cameras, every intersection had armed guards, and every elevator required multiple clearances. But Alara was a master of information, and Rex was a master of blending in. They moved with a deceptive casualness, appearing exactly like two bored independent contractors waiting for their payment. They managed to slip into a maintenance shaft that led to the lower levels. The shaft was dark, dusty, and thankfully devoid of surveillance. They climbed down, bypassing several levels, until they reached the entrance to Level 5. The door to Level 5 was reinforced with multiple security scans. Rex pulled out his plasma pistol, but Alara stopped him. No, Captain, too much noise, this requires finesse. She pulled out a small, specialized data slicer, no bigger than her thumb. The credentials I copied will get us through the initial scan. Then I'll have to manually override the biometric lock. She inserted the slicer into a hidden port near the door. The panel glowed and then, with a soft click, the first lock disengaged. Alara then placed her palm on the biometric scanner. Her fingers moved rapidly across the slicer's tiny interface, mimicking the neural patterns she had copied. After a tense minute, the door slid open. They stepped inside. Level 5 was even more imposing than the levels above. Rows upon rows of data crystals glowed with information, stored in massive climate-controlled vaults. The air hummed with barely contained energy, and the silence was profound, broken only by the soft whirring of data retrieval droids. The fragment is deep inside here, Alara whispered, pointing to a section of the vault that pulsed faintly on her datapad. Vault 7 Gamma, it's one of their most secure sections. As they moved through the vast vault, Rex noticed something disturbing. Some of the data crystal slots were empty. Not just empty, but scorched, as if the crystals had been violently removed or destroyed. Looks like the Shadow Keepers have been here too, Rex observed grimly. They're not just trying to stop us from finding the fragments, they're actively destroying them. This is a race against time, he thought, recalling Whisper's warning. They reached Vault 7 Gamma. It was guarded by two imposing Council security droids, their optical sensors glowing ominously. They were not patrol droids. These were heavy-duty models, armed with powerful energy cannons. We can't just walk past them, Alara whispered. Their programming will detect any unauthorized neural key or biometrics. Rex thought quickly. Can you cause a system malfunction? Something that will draw their attention away or disable them temporarily? Possibly, Alara replied, scanning the droids. Their internal programming is complex, but if I can spoof a system-wide anomaly, they might go into diagnostic mode. It would only last a few seconds though. A few seconds is all we need, Rex said. When I give the signal, hit it. I'll get their attention. Rex took a deep breath, then stepped out from cover. Hey rust buckets, he yelled, kicking an empty data crystal casing, sending it clattering across the floor. The two security droids immediately swiveled their heads, their optical sensors locking onto Rex. Their energy cannons whirred, charging up. Intruder detected, unauthorized access, their synthesized voices blared. Now Alara, Rex roared. Alara's fingers flew across her datapad. A high-pitched, piercing whine filled the vault, followed by a series of cascading system errors displayed on the droid's internal readouts. The droids hesitated, their whirring slowing, their optical sensors flickering as they entered diagnostic mode. Go, Rex yelled, sprinting past the momentarily confused droids towards the vault door. Alara was right behind him. She jammed her slicer into the vault's access port, quickly bypassing its advanced security protocols. The door slid open, revealing another chamber, smaller but even more heavily protected. Inside, bathed in a soft ethereal light, stood a single shimmering data crystal on a pedestal. It was larger than the previous fragment, pulsing with a vibrant energy that hummed in the air. This was the Veritas fragment, but as they entered, a figure emerged from the shadows behind the pedestal. It was a shadow keeper, sleek and menacing in its dark armor. This one was different, however. Its visor was transparent, revealing a face beneath. A human face, cold and unyielding, with sharp, intelligent eyes. Captain Vance. Alara Reese, the Shadow Keeper's voice was calm, almost bored. You've been quite troublesome, but this is where your journey ends. This fragment will not leave these archives. Rex raised his plasma pistol. Your Federation, he stated, a cold realization dawning on him. Who are you? I am Commander Valerius, the Keeper replied, his lips curling into a sneer. And I represent the true guardians of Galactic Order, the Council's chosen protectors. The Veritas Protocol is a dangerous lie, a relic of a primitive past that threatens to unravel everything we've built. Valerius moved with incredible speed, far faster than the Keepers they had faced on the asteroid. He was clearly an elite operative. He drew a sleek energy blade, its hum echoing ominously in the chamber. You're not protecting order, Valerius. Alara spat, her voice laced with disgust. You're protecting a lie. You're erasing history. Sometimes, the truth is a luxury the galaxy cannot afford, Valerius countered, lunging at Rex with surprising agility. Rex barely managed to block the energy blade with his pistol, the weapon sparking violently. Valerius was a master combatant, his movements precise and deadly. Rex was a space trucker, not a soldier, but his years of brawls in rough spaceports had taught him how to survive. He dodged, parried, and tried to create distance, firing plasma bolts whenever he had an opening. Valerius's shields absorbed the hits with ease. Alara, get the fragment, Rex yelled, knowing he couldn't hold Valerius off forever. Alara rushed towards the pedestal, but Valerius, with a burst of speed, intercepted her. He slammed his energy blade down, cutting off her path. The fragment stays here, little scientist. Rex, seeing Alara in danger, roared and charged Valerius, engaging him in a desperate hand-to-hand struggle. He used his bulk and raw strength, trying to overpower the agile Keeper. Valerius, however, was trained, using Rex's momentum against him, throwing him against a massive data crystal rack. Rex hit the rack with a painful thud, sending dozens of valuable crystals clattering to the floor. As he struggled to get up, Valerius advanced, his energy blade humming, ready for a finishing blow. I won't let you, Alara cried. In a desperate act, she grabbed one of the shattered data crystals from the floor, not a Veritas fragment, just a regular data crystal, and hurled it at Valerius's transparent visor. The crystal hit Valerius's visor with a sharp crack. His shield flickered, and for a split second his vision was obscured. It was just enough. Rex, seeing the opening, surged forward. He tackled Valerius, sending both of them crashing into the pedestal, holding the Veritas fragment. The pedestal toppled, and the shimmering fragment flew into the air. Without thinking, Rex lunged, catching the fragment before it could hit the ground. Its energy hummed in his hand, raw and powerful. Valerius, disoriented, quickly recovered. He saw Rex with the fragment, and a look of pure rage crossed his face. "Give me that." He charged again, his energy blade swinging wildly. Rex knew he couldn't fight Valerius and escape with the fragment. He had to create a distraction. His eyes fell on the massive data crystal racks. He remembered the power surge Alara had created in the mining outpost. He slammed the Veritas fragment against the closest data rack, not to damage the fragment, but to channel its raw energy into the fragile council data crystals. A blinding flash, a cacophony of alarms, and the scent of burning circuits filled the chamber. The data crystals overloaded, exploding in a chain reaction, sparks flying, and valuable information being irrevocably destroyed. The entire vault began to destabilize, its lights flickering, its structural integrity groaning under the sudden overload. "You fool," Valerius roared, forced to shield himself from the cascading explosions. "You're destroying priceless council data." "Priceless lies, you mean," Rex retorted, grabbing Alara's arm. "Let's go." They ran back through the now chaotic vault, the alarms blaring. The security droids from the previous chamber, now recovered from their diagnostic mode, opening fire indiscriminately at the collapsing racks. The entire Level 5 was turning into a war zone. They scrambled back into the maintenance shaft, climbing rapidly, as the sounds of destruction echoed behind them. They could hear Valerius's enraged shouts, mixed with the screams of other council personnel scrambling to contain the disaster. They emerged onto an upper level, already filled with frantic council guards and security forces responding to the massive system failure. "We need to get to the Wanderer," Rex yelled, pulling Alara through the panicked crowds. "It's on docking bay 17, but it'll be heavily guarded now," Alara warned. "Then we take a different route," Rex said, his mind already formulating a new plan. "We're going to cause a diversion, a big one, and then we're going to steal something else." He led Alara towards a section of the complex marked High-Security Transport Hangar. This was where the Council kept their faster, more agile shuttlecraft for rapid deployment. "What are you thinking, Captain?" Alara asked, her eyes wide. "We're not leaving in the Wanderer," Rex grinned, a dangerous glint in his eye. "We're leaving in theirs, and we're going to make sure they know exactly who took it." The plan was reckless, even for Rex, but with Valerius and the Shadow Keepers hot on their trail, and a galaxy-wide hunt for the Veritas Protocol fragments, a direct, undeniable defiance was perhaps their best way to buy themselves some precious time. They were no longer just messengers of truth. They were active combatants in a war for galactic history.